the general manager of your Detroit Red Wings, Steve Yzerman. Good morning. How are you?
Hi, Mike, John. I'm doing fine. Yourselves?
Good, thank you.
We're doing all right. Hey, before we start talking hockey and trade deadlines and the future of the Red Wings, I do want to ask, because I saw this news article this morning. I thought there was only one guy that I had to deal with today that was a huge Springsteen fan. Come to find out, you've been there a number of times to see the boss. Are you going to go to the LCA with Stoney at the end of the month?
You'll be in the pit with me.
Yeah, I haven't decided yet. I'm kind of putting together my schedule for the month of March and April here. I know it's the 29th.
Yep.
I think we're in town. I'm just undecided if I'm going to go, but yeah, I'm going back to when I was 15 in Ottawa at the Ottawa Civic Center. It was the first time I saw him, and saw all the tours that have rolled through Detroit and various albums and that. So might be good to see him one more time.
Now, in that same article, they said you had a chance to meet him and you didn't.
A little starstruck.
Well, his daughter is a really accomplished writer.
Yes,
My daughter's
I know.
Just young, and at the time there was a show in Washington D.C. actually at the MCI Center, and he used to go to the New York Ranger games a lot. And when we'd play in there, I saw him in the stands, like right behind the Ranger bench a few times. But I'm standing right there next to him at the ring at the horse show, and I just couldn't. I didn't want to bother him when he's watching his daughter, and I didn't work up the nerve to. That was okay. He had his, just like typical Bruce. He was wearing jeans and a jacket and leather wallet with a chain in his back pocket. I'm like, of course he is. So it was pretty cool to see him. He's there like one of the other dads.
Yeah, exactly. The deadline goes on Friday. You guys made various moves, and I know you talked about it a lot on Friday. One of the questions I have is Vrana, and I know we can't get into a lot of the personal stuff. Was there an option to just let him play out the season? If he played well, then his value would be better at the end of the season, or there was no way you guys could do that?
Certainly was a consideration for sure. Again, without going into details,
right.
That was something I thought about. That was the initial plan. Once he returned to the Red Wings in December, let's get him back on the ice, and we'll go one step at a time. And I just felt like here at the deadline, we thought about, play out the rest of the season. We'll make a decision for next year, potentially play next year and make a decision beyond that. Ultimately, I just decided at this point, it's I can't speak necessarily on what is best
right.
for Jakub Vrana, but I can speak, it's my responsibility to do what's best for the Detroit Red Wings, and ultimately, believe it or not, or like it or not, I felt this is the right decision for the Red Wings, that this isn't working, and I don't have a lot of faith that it's going to work, that it's just time to move on, and it just didn't work. Accept that and move on.
About 10 days ago, you guys were sitting in that number 8 playoff spot. How much, and I know the decisions are made over the course of a season, but how much did the past 6 games, 5 leading up to the trade deadline, influence your decisions to, hey, we need to move Bertuzzi, we need to move Vrana at this time?
You're going into the second half of the season here, and the weeks, the months leading up to the trade deadline, really probably more influence. Tyler's situation a little bit unique in that he's a valuable player, and our hope was, as you saw, we signed Oli Mata, we signed Jake Wallman, we were able to sign Dylan Larkin. I wasn't able to, and I didn't feel we were going to come to an agreement with Tyler, and the decision was, do we keep him and push for the playoffs and run the risk of losing him at the end of the year? And I felt we're at the stage we're at, make it or not make it, the stage we're at, we can't afford to let a player go that's going to bring us, well, in this case, a first-round draft choice. So unfortunately, had to make that decision, and in all likelihood, regardless of how the 3 or 4 games prior to the deadline went, that was probably the direction we were going, and I knew I had to do that. I didn't necessarily like it or enjoy it, but I knew it was the right thing for us. Other moves, I guess I'm looking at our team, and it's not just wins, losses. the obvious statistics and, power play percentage, goaltending, penalty killing percentage, every aspect of our game to decide where are we at the deadline for this year. And ultimately, my feeling was we didn't make significant moves, I guess, other than Tyler, Philip, Hronik. That was something I'd hoped to do, if it was more of an off-season move, I thought, but I just felt like this deal might not be there in the off season. So if I like it, I better act on it now.
You addressed on Friday as well where this team basically stands as far as the rebuild. I know fans are very impatient, but we've been told. I mean, we've talked about it before. In hockey, maybe more than any other sport, it does legitimately take 7-8 years for a team to go from where you guys were into where you're a Stanley Cup contender. And I know people around here with all our teams in that it's not like football. It takes forever. Where are you? Where are they with this? Because I look at it, and you even mentioned them to our boy Will Birchfield asked this. I mean, I look at Ottawa, with Stützle and Tkachuk and DeBrincat and Giroux and now Chikrin and Buffalo with all the guys that they have, with Thompson and Tuck, and you know them better than I do, Dahlin.
Yep.
Where are the wings? I mean, and in your own division, you guys are probably sixth, and and that's maybe realistic or polite. I don't know.
Well, I wouldn't disagree with you on that. You look at Boston, Florida, Toronto, and Tampa, the top 4 teams in the division. They're trying to win now. Just off the top of my head, all 4 of them have sunk or invested a lot of future assets, a lot of draft choices in the last couple of years, in the next couple of years, in trying to win a cup now. So they're at a different stage in us. So I look at Montreal ourselves, as you mentioned, Buffalo and Ottawa. We're all rebuilding. We're not so much Buffalo and Ottawa now, but Montreal and ourselves still acquiring assets, draft choices, prospects potentially to try and build. They've been doing it a little bit longer than us. They've done a very good job. I'm not making any excuses. We need to do better, but we're not there yet. I look at their nucleus of young players. I look at what they have coming. They're just ahead of us, and we got to stick with it. And we have to draft well. We have to get lucky in some occasions. Maybe at some point here, maybe this year, get lucky in the lottery. And that'll kind of speed it up a little bit. But it is taking time. And apart from the odd, kind of top draft choice, you get beyond the first round, beyond the top 3-4. Most of these kids are three years away from playing, and you get the later picks that you draft them at 18, and they go off to college for 3 and 4 years, and then in the American League for a year. It's kind of the route they take, and it just it takes years to accumulate or build a team. So in our league, we got 32 teams. Everybody, for the most part, locks up their top players. The top players don't get to free agency, so that's a tough way to go. And and teams very rarely are trading the top guys. So it takes your time, and we're going to stick with it. But I certainly, for yourself, for our fan base, like it's been a long time prior. 3, maybe 4 years prior to myself taking over.
Yeah.
And you're sitting here going, hey, here we go again. I understand, but that's the way it goes. And I can only, I don't have control over what happens with the draft lottery. We haven't had much luck as an organization there, and that's okay. We still have to find players where we're picking, and we expect to and should expect to pick our fine players, and it just takes a little bit longer.
You definitely have a war chest. I think it's 4 first-round picks in the next 2 years. How much of that is, hey, we want to be able to utilize those picks and develop guys that we draft, as well as the possibility of using those and packaging them together to, if you don't have that lottery luck, to be able to move up in the draft to try and increase your odds of getting one of those superstars?
Well, I don't I'm not sure how many superstars there are in this draft. I don't really want to share my thoughts on that, although
Sure.
It'd be highly unlikely that we can get up there anyways. but very rarely, at least in hockey, do you see top 3 picks ever get traded at the draft. I don't know if or when the last time that has happened. So I don't, whether, whoever has those picks, I don't see anybody really being able, including ourselves, being able to, wherever we end up, being able to move up to there. You can move up 1 or 2 spots, 3 spots maybe. But we'll worry about that when we know the draft order at the end of the year. I guess just having all these picks gives us options. Right now I sit here and we plan to use those picks because in the off season, you won't really know about options for potentially making a trade. Last year, we saw Ottawa in Chicago make a trade. I think it was for the 7th pick. To Chicago. Ottawa traded their pick to Chicago for DeBrincat.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like a real good move for both teams, going in different directions a little bit. Ottawa kind of coming, into the next phase of their development and trades a high pick for a young player. It'll be interesting now with DeBrincat's got 1 year to go on his contract, what they do with that. But that was a bold move by both teams. So it does happen, but I can't, today I don't sit here going, I have all these options to use these picks, trading them up in the draft or trading them for players. But we certainly are open to that. In a perfect world, you're trading draft picks for really good young players because you know what they are. It just doesn't happen very often. But I'm certainly open to it.
Any regrets in the offseason? You guys spent a decent amount of money on free agency, not for superstars, but, Perron, Kopp, Sherrod, people like that, it definitely improved the team, but still not bad enough where you're going to get a high lottery pick.
Well, I thought of, last summer, no, to answer your question, no, I don't have any regrets. I wanted to bring in players that were good people, that were good players, to be partners for Moritz Seider, to help our team. For us to get one of those high picks, we're not just trading Bertuzzi, we're trading Larkin, we're trading everybody to get one of those picks. You look at the teams that are at the bottom, what they did to get there. There's 5 of them that are trying to get to the bottom. For us to do it, it wasn't going to happen. My first 3 years, Stoney, what do we end up picking? We pick 4th, 6th, and 6th. I guess the first. You've had one. Trust me, that was the plan. Then it's hey, we're not going to sign good players. We're not going to take it to another level. We're not going to sign a bunch of free agents. We're going to be at the bottom. We're going to suck this up for a few years and get high picks. Unfortunately, in our system, the best pick we could get was 4th overall, and we're okay with it because we like the players that we got.
Right.
So to sit here last summer and say, you know what, hey, with this group, we're just going to do nothing. And we needed players. We did have to put a team on the ice, and to be I just felt at that time, okay, I don't mind doing it to be bad, and we're going to get another high pick. But that's what I've been doing, and
you've had one top 5 pick in the last 5 years, really, with all the
right.
picks.
So it's I don't know how with Pat Verbeek at Anaheim starting over and trading his entire, trading everybody. Some of these teams are trying to be at the bottom. They're trying to get high picks. We've been doing that. Unfortunately, it hasn't worked for us. So, we've gradually moved up in the standings. Seider and Raymond, Larkin, they've helped us be better. Now we just got to keep going in that vein. So the moves I made last year, really it was I don't want to get beat 10-0 every night.
Yeah.
Okay. We're building. We're going to be patient. So honestly, whether you're picking 6th or 8th or 10th, you need to get a good player, and the higher you pick gives you a better chance, but there's no guarantees. And, so I just felt we need, where we're at, we need to, in free agency last year, is get some players that are going to help our players evolve. I don't want to be, terrible forever. What happens? Your good players start to go backwards and regress, and I don't want that for our guys.
And the team definitely hasn't regressed. I mean, the goal differential from last year to this year is remarkable, and I assume you're happy with the job Newsy's done. And all in all, the team has gotten better. It's just, like we talked about, it takes longer than people realize.
No, I believe we're going in the right direction. I I understand how our players feel at the trade deadline. I understand how our media and fan base feel. And ultimately, like I'm sitting there going, you know what? I know people aren't going to like this. They're not going to be happy about it. But when the season ends, I did what I feel I had to do, and I get where people are the frustration for anybody. But I did what I felt was right. I did what I had to do, and now, you know what? We have to make good moves with the draft picks that we got, whatever those moves are. If it's simply just picking them and developing these guys into players. So, unfortunately, this deadline, I feel strongly about what we did. That it was the right direction to take. But I also get, like, the players are, 2 weeks ago, we're in a wild card spot, or a week ago, and the mood is good, and the players are playing hard, and we've had some success. I did what I had to do.
Yep, and I think most hockey people understand it. And, around the North America, everybody said that you did the right thing. Steve, as always, thank you very much. We appreciate it. We'll see you at LCA, if not sooner than March 29th. What's your favorite song? What's your favorite Bruce song?
God. I want to say, I don't know, maybe Born to Run.
All right, that's a classic. You'll hear that one.
Yeah, pretty much anything off of that album. That was really my first. I really became a Springsteen fan when The River came out. But Born to Run album was probably my favorite album, and take any song off of that.
Right. Thanks again. We appreciate it.
Hey guys.
All right,
no problem.
Steve Yzerman, general manager of the Red Wings, joining us. Stoney and Jansen, 97 won the ticket.